All right. Good evening, everyone. Dave Wilson of the Ring of Hire Show. Amy, it worked. We are now on X.
Awesome. That is
I
great.
I know we're
Kudos.
just talking about it, but it went through everybody. So between X, K something, I don't even know what this new thing is called K something.
All right.
Blue Sky. Have you ever heard of Blue Sky?
I have not heard of Blue Sky.
That's another social media platform that will be on next week. I have no clue what
Awesome.
it is,
All
but
right.
it's called Blue Sky, and you can sign up for that. But good evening, everybody. Hey, listen, tonight's a great show. We're going to be talking about one of the great subjects on LinkedIn. And it's like, does the green banner actually work? And then also, we're going to talk about deep diving into job loss. So, everybody knows the deal. We'll be right back after this video. And it's not that one, it's this one. There we go. Everything is working on every platform, no skips. I'm not going to jinx it. I'm not going to jinx it.
All right.
Go from there. So, how's everything going?
Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm really excited about this topic.
Amy, why don't you introduce yourself again? I always want people to get to know you and what you do at Stone Solutions Consulting.
Oh, absolutely. Hi, my name is Amy Stone. I am the owner of Stone Solutions Consulting and focused on leadership development, team building, hiring for fit. Really succession planning, delegation, effective communication, things of that nature. My background is in operations. I was a director of operations for 60 stations in the United States and Canada. And then I also worked under the umbrella of HR for director of employee development. And I had oversight of recruiting, leadership development, and safety and training. So, really that combination has allowed me to see opportunities and view them all through a different lens. So it's really allowed me to really bring a different value to what I do for my clients.
I gotta give it to you, Amy, because I always say when we pick a topic, I don't even give her anything kind of questions or anything. She just shows up and you just answer. So you get to know your guests and you know who you're having on the show and that you know what you're talking about. Because at least I can just put it on you. I'm like, all right, hey, take this question. But
Bring
tonight is a great subject, and start off and the LinkedIn when they came out was the green banner. I think there's a lot of different. There's purple now for hiring. You know, but the green banner, does it really work? Now, I didn't ask you your thoughts on this before this because I'm going to give you my 2 cents, but I'm going to ask you, do you think it's a great tool and do you recommend it?
So I do think it's a good tool and I do recommend it. However, I think it needs to, like the positioning of it, and making sure that
I
when
didn't think of
you
that.
have when you're putting it out there and that you're identifying yourself that you're looking for work, be positive, be
Right.
confident, identify what you are seeking, and and then the don'ts to it. Do not bash your previous employer or any coworkers, and just so there's a lot of do's and don'ts, and I think just being able to reach out to your contacts and also ask for recommendations. So I think there's a lot of yay it works and nay it doesn't work. So I think it all depends on the who you're getting that information from. But it can't
Right.
be your one all be all. You've got to make sure that that's one of many things that you have to use in order to look for work.
Well, I'm glad we both agree because we both agree. And the only reason I'm going to say I agree with it, and then we're going to go break it down a little bit, is I didn't realize when people are on LinkedIn and you're looking, scrolling through, and you can see they're open to work. I think it's great how they put things about themselves, and put it on there. I would use it. I would. Everybody said, "You, why not?" But
Mhm.
the reason I really like it is the recruiters on these big companies, they pay for on LinkedIn, they pay for LinkedIn Recruiter. Now you're talking for a license, sometimes you're talking thousands and thousands of dollars, like 15, 25, even more $1,000 a year. All right. And you get 5 postings for like 20 some thousand.
Mhm.
So when I saw that and I started using it, and say you're just looking for a logistics manager or anybody, any kind of job, right? You put it in there, type it in. A recruiter does because
Mhm.
not everybody has access to that.
Right.
Puts it in there. Now it comes up within your area, the filter. All right, now there's 700 people. Right, boom. But click that button, open to work, and whoosh, there it comes. And that there changed my whole. And these were top executives too. So that right there, why do you think people think it's embarrassing or it's low or you're desperate? I think you see it on there, oh, we're desperate. But if they knew behind, so if somebody doesn't know that, and these bigger companies that have LinkedIn Recruiter, they can filter that and you come up. Now, I do want to find out if when you filter it, if you don't have that green banner and you're open to work, I believe that still comes up. But there is a thing with open to work and it shows the green banner that you can do. So right there,
Mhm.
ideally, kind of as a recruiter, puts you way ahead.
Right.
It puts you to the front of the line because that's where I'm going right there. Because why am I going? I know you want to go after that. People are working. I get that. I really do. I get that. Hey, I'm going to go after Amy. Hey, you know what, Amy? We got this position. We're going to pay you $150,000 a year, and you'll be like, well, can I get another week's vacation? You know what I mean? So being proactive. But if you can just pull that up,
Mhm.
come on. But why do you think sometimes that people think it's like you're desperate? Why would they even say that? I don't get it.
Yeah, and that's why I think this is going to be an interesting topic, and I'm interested to hear from others because it's the perception is reality. And then, if you don't put yourself out there, no one's going to know.
Right.
And so and if it doesn't work, take it down. So
Yep.
just try it and see what the results are for a week. And then, change up your LinkedIn, make sure you have the right keywords. First of all, identify what job you're looking for
Right.
and be specific, and then make sure that your words in your LinkedIn and on your resume
Yep.
are match what's going on in the job description. So there's a lot of methodical and proactive work you need to do.
Right.
You can't just be able to put an open to work and think you're going to get a job right away. You've got to
Nah,
be strategic. You've got to be
glad you
proactive.
said that. I'm glad you said that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that's just one of many things that you can do. And if it's working, great. If it's not working, then try something else. But I think that at least it's an opportunity. It's an option. And, why not?
Well, I got the poll off of LinkedIn, and I'm thinking, well, to get a poll off of LinkedIn, it says 40% more people get noticed more. I'm like, okay, but I'm sure they have their numbers, but I kind of believe, I really do believe that because, again, the reason there also, I know when I'm scrolling through, listen, it comes down to where, like we were talking before about knowing your audience. Okay.
Mhm.
If I'm going after a lot of people in my area and here like that, you'd be surprised. And I've gotten a lot more of it to say, hey, are you hiring? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
They respond back to you. You see that they're open to work. I don't I don't get into say the first thing, oh, you're open to work. I don't get into that. I mean, I just want to find out about that person. But like you said, I like how you said the work behind it because if you don't make sure your profile looks good, then it's going to turn the recruiter right off because you look at some of the pictures. I know I have to get a new one. I look too young, but you really want to have a really decent picture on that with that banner
Mhm.
looking
Right.
great. And LinkedIn does it for a reason. So, example I'm going to give you. So you can do a carousel now of you have your picture and then your background, right? So you can do a carousel. So I did it. I added 5 images now. So when you go on my profile, it changes up top.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people would say, what are you doing that for? The point is, they're doing it. They're the ones creating this. So to me, use it.
Yeah, I mean they're LinkedIn and they've got some data, so they've got the analysis and
They're
it's
going to push it out. They're going to push it out, I feel,
yeah.
right? I mean, here's a new product, use it. But if you don't make some kind of like, I should see something out of it. It says I'm going to get more views. I'm like, okay, by just changing that,
Yeah.
maybe when it scrolls through. But my point there is that green banner, it's there for a reason. Now you can hide it. I know you can put what that you're open to work, but you, the recruiters are the only ones that see you,
Right,
versus everybody else. But the only thing that they don't realize is it's great. You can't hide it completely from your
right.
employer. You gotta keep that in your mind. If you're actually looking for work and you put that on there, when recruiters are looking for you, your name
Yeah.
comes up. And if you're an on-staff recruit, you're gonna be like, "Hey, I saw your resume on there."
Yeah. So common sense has to play a factor in that too. But you had mentioned it before, like your profile picture. Does it is it work related, or do you have your hat on backwards?
Right,
And like, so just make sure that it's professional,
right,
and make sure that the title of what you're looking for, it speaks volumes, and ask for feedback. Like, talk to somebody and say, hey, if you were looking at resumes, what would you say about my profile, my
right.
resume? Ask for feedback and then be prepared and react accordingly.
Yeah, because you want to put all that correct information on. Now, like
Mhm.
today, I saw a couple, and I just wanted to see something. I copy and pasted their paragraph about their story, right? All the spell check errors. Wow. And I was like, oh my God. So I did mine right away. Now,
Mhm.
listen, I am for AI. I use it as a tool. I do.
Right.
Everybody says, you can really utilize it great if you know what you're looking for. Like you said, those keywords are important. That little line underneath your name with having, you don't need 10,000 things on it. Just use ChatGPT, use AI to see, and you
Mhm.
be, make a list of them. You're like, oh, I like that one, because there again, with that green banner, you have those right words. Like you're in logistics. Let's just say logistics, logistics.
Mhm.
Listen, when they type that in logistics, guess who's coming up?
Right.
Yourself, and a green banner. Oh, hey, Sue, he's open for work. Duh. I
Yeah.
mean, professional wise, everybody's, well, it depends on your job. I don't see how that relates, because doing the homework behind you.
Right.
If you don't do the homework behind you, it's going to look horrible.
And even coming dressed, be prepared to be dressed for an interview. And I'm thinking more of the warehouse type jobs. I mean, I will still not interview you if you come in cut off shorts and a tank top. I will ask you to come back when you are ready to interview. And yes, it's a warehouse job, but I mean, you've got to set some standards, and you've got to make sure that what you put out there is what you get. And so, if you come late for an interview, I'm not going to interview you. You don't come dressed for an interview, I'm going to ask you to get dressed and then come back and
And then
see me.
come back.
It needs to start. The standard needs to be at the time of interview, so the culture of your company is shining through.
Right.
If you're late, you're late. Then you're going to have to
That's it.
reschedule.
I know this is another question. See what you think about it. Is, let's just take entry level and really any type of work. I believe you can be on LinkedIn for that. A lot of people say, well, I'm not professional. What? Why aren't you a professional? Just because there again, I say listen, if I'm a recruiter and I can get 10 forklift drivers, and I see more and more forklift drivers on there, when you
Mhm.
go to like when, let's just say, Nestle Waters over in Bringsville, right? You go to that site, you'll see a lot of people, forklift drivers. Now, they need to fix their profiles, because there again, you got
Right.
that LinkedIn profile. Why not make yourself stand out? Like anybody can go to my profile. I always tell them, just go to mine. Use it
Mhm.
as an example, because I've gone to yours. I've gone to other people. If
Right.
you don't put example like SAP, all your ADP, all your softwares that you use at work, I didn't realize it. You might not have that on your resume, or you do, but you don't have it on your LinkedIn profile.
Mhm.
So you need to have those words somewhere in that paragraph, your story. You need to have it on there with that green banner. And again, somebody's looking for SAP experience. Filter, it goes filtered. And guess who's going to be seen when you get pulled up on LinkedIn?
Yeah, and you know what we were talking about earlier. You got to know what the end result is. What is it? What do you want that end result to be? And then work backwards. And you know, if you got to make some changes, that'll steer you in the right direction. But it's just a matter of knowing what your end result needs to be, and then make it happen.
But do you believe that entry level jobs should be on there? People can be on LinkedIn. Why not? Right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's no reason why. I mean, anybody can be on. So, I mean,
Yeah.
this is a platform for really work related type jobs. It doesn't mean you have to be a director or hire to be on there. That's
Yeah, because a lot of people, I don't put it on LinkedIn because they're not on here. How do you know? How do you know that 15 forklift drivers, as an example, aren't
Mhm.
on there? How do you know? You can't just say, well, I never see it. Well, you don't look. I look because when I go to companies all around here in the Lehigh Valley, I want to see who's hiring. So I go on there and I look at the connections and I'm like, wow. Now you'll still see that when people have that green banner, they'll have the green banner, but they haven't taken off their job yet. So they're, you know what I mean? So a lot of people say, well, do you end your job? No, listen, I wouldn't end your job until you got a new one.
right,
That's just me because then people can see maybe, well, he's been 1 year without 1 year without work or something. I don't think that happens that much. But if it did, again, I like how you said, if you're not doing the homework behind you, you're
right,
not going to get anywhere with that green banner.
right. And that's just one of many, many tools to use. So,
Yeah, just to use it to get on there. And like I said, again, they have the purple one that says now hiring. And those catch my eyes. Why
right.
not? Well, you're scrolling through LinkedIn and you're looking for work, and all of a sudden you see a purple ring that says hiring.
Yep.
Why wouldn't you stop if that's in your area? Why wouldn't you stop and say, "Oh, let me see what she's doing"?
Exactly.
That's free.
I mean, I wonder, and I haven't been on LinkedIn to explore that piece of it, but having if there's any information about how to utilize that to the best of your ability to make that work for you. I mean, hopefully there's a little blurb out there of a quick how-to guide. But I
To get
mean,
it on there.
stuff's out there.
And again, the same thing with LinkedIn post about when they're hiring. You got to make it look good. You just don't put in there type, "Oh, I'm looking for this." Hey, you know what? You got to again. It's your I don't know. It's just about yourself. It shows how professional you are. And I believe if you have everything really good on that LinkedIn profile, that because a lot more now with quick apply, let's just back it up there a second. So quick
Mhm.
apply on LinkedIn. I really don't like those quick applies in my because everybody doesn't read the whole friggin' thing and they just apply. They
Mhm.
don't read it. Apply, 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 apply. And that there, I don't believe works. But when you have that green banner on and you go to a job, it shows you some of the recruiters put their names there
Right.
and you can share your profile. So why not share your profile with a green banner? But if you don't have anything filled in with it, they're just going to look at that and be like, oh, geez, what the
Right.
uh,
Well, and I mean, having been a recruiter, and when you've got 100 resumes,
right.
I have a yes pile and I have a no pile.
Yep.
And all I want to do is get down to my 10 yeses. And
Right.
I want to get everybody in the no pile as much as I can. So the resume has to catch your eye.
Yes.
Nobody reads a resume. Nobody reads it. It's got you peruse it. So you're looking for those keywords. And
Keywords.
so making sure that your resume is easy to peruse, have those keywords there for that specific job. So you can't just have one resume that is going to apply for like all 10 jobs. You have
Right.
to make sure that you craft that each resume for that specific job because you've got to match up the job words from their job description to your resume so it will work through that ATS when they pull those certain keywords. So you get actually in front of a
That
true.
word drives me crazy. ATS. Freaking crazy all the time.
Yep, yep.
Well, when you say that because it just everything is we always say and you're right, you're 100% right. if you don't have those words on there, you're not going to be seen. And I didn't realize that until I started utilizing the AI.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
changed it up a little bit. I used AI, but I changed it a little bit. I didn't make it exactly what it said. I just changed
Mhm.
it a little bit in my words, you know.
Right.
So that works.
Yeah, and I mean, as long as you are putting the time and energy, it's. I mean, they've always said that when you're looking for a job, it's really an 8-hour day job looking for a job. So, I mean, you can't just have a one resume that's going to be great for all 10, 100 different jobs you're applying for. You literally have to do your homework on it and make sure that you got the right words on there and that the spelling is correct
Yeah.
and that you're not
I
putting.
got called out on that. I get called out. A recruiter, somebody will call you out on LinkedIn if you spelled a word wrong. They'll, hey Dave, when you put when I put something with a show, it's spelled wrong. Oh shoot. I'm thinking, wow, somebody pays attention to that. But again, that's your reputation. That's your
Right.
professionalism. And a lot of people with that green banner, you got that. You quick applied for the job. You didn't look good on your thing. Your resume might look great, but it looks horrible on LinkedIn. All you have to do is just match them together and just go
Yep.
right down. Put the right dates on there because again, it's LinkedIn is I really look at it as your business card. This,
Hmm.
it's your business card here. Why not look great? Why not have all the information? They might not even need that resume because that's why they say apply. Which some places I saw on LinkedIn just apply with with your LinkedIn profile. That's it.
Right.
That's it. But when they apply with your LinkedIn profile, and then it takes you to your job board or what they're
Hmm.
using for their ATA. You got to fill out the company website. You
Right.
have to do all that. So they're looking at both, but anybody that's done recruiting knows the first thing they do, especially professional jobs, if you want to say, is you're going to go right to their LinkedIn profile.
Right. And, I mean, I've had some recruiters go to the Facebook page. One of my recruiters, um,
I don't do that much. I don't know why I don't. I never
yeah,
thought about that.
I
You know,
personally won't do that. But I've had some recruiters that would go and when we've interviewed candidates, they go and look on their
check
Facebook,
everything.
and I'm like, I mean, it's interesting what people put on their Facebook, and so lock that down. Just lock it down.
I DJ, so I'm like, man, you put that stuff on there, all the party and all, but I don't drink, so I'm like, but still, I know what to post. I don't post anything on my Facebook thing that's not crazy. Maybe years ago I did when you were younger, but not
Right.
now. Not if you're looking for work. So if you are looking for work, that's a good call. Clean it up.
Yeah, block so not anybody but your friends can see what's
Can't
on
see.
your Facebook because that
Yeah.
is something that
It's more
some recruiters
personal.
do.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you're out there dancing and drinking on a dance floor at a wedding, and all of a sudden you're like saying some things you shouldn't be saying, and that
Right.
new employer looks at that, they're going to be like, "Whoa, I don't know there." But again, I've seen it so many times. You know, for the green banner, you got that green banner on now. You got these people on LinkedIn that want to charge you 100, 200. I've seen it up to almost $800 to 1,000 to do your LinkedIn profile for you and optimize it. And I want to laugh. I'll get heat for this one. I want to laugh because with AI, if you use it correctly, you don't need to spend all those hundreds of dollars on that. Now,
Right.
maybe in like top industries, when you're talking, I don't know, maybe it is different, but I don't believe that LinkedIn profile, there's anything on there that you can't do. Now, I want to show you this, for example, on Amazon. All right. You can get these for like $12, $10. These are all laminated things here's 3 pages about LinkedIn. Right. They're like $7, $8 right here. Look at it. All three. It tells you, look at all that.
Wow.
One thing on LinkedIn. Now I got another one here. You got the one here. All right, here's another one. Everything all about it. You can go on to Amazon. It's like $7 to $8, and you can get each one. You got one on coaching and mentoring, managing people, and look at all the information for all that you get,
Wow, that's great.
especially for the LinkedIn, because you'll be like, oh my god, like it's even got one's Excel, Instagram, Six Sigma. I wanted to learn more about that, and it
Right.
gives you the really great information. I get them all the time on Amazon. And even for LinkedIn, there's no excuse because when you look at it, you're like, oh my God, I didn't know that. You could just go off of one of the sheets there to do it.
Right, right. That's good information. I like that. It's good to share.
Yeah, I'll share that with you on the ones on LinkedIn
Okay.
because it's so worth it because you'll be like, whoa, I didn't know that. Whoa, you'll be like, and again, if you're utilizing LinkedIn correctly with that green banner, you want to have all this other stuff correct
Right,
on there because there are some people that will look at that deep dive. They will deep dive into that. They're going to be like, nope, I'm not going to hire this person
right.
because their posts. You got to watch your posts too.
Hmm.
I don't think that many people put bad things on LinkedIn as much. I really don't. I don't personally. I don't see a lot of it. Like I don't see posts that'll be like, ooh, I wouldn't do that. I
I've
don't.
seen a few, and it just makes me cringe, and it needs. And yeah, it's not something that happens a lot, but I've seen it a few times, and it
Put your
just
post on there for you get to comments. Oh, people say that's for Facebook. That's for Facebook.
right, right.
But I will say, like you told me to bring it up. For example, the Ring of Hire show. When I first did that, I love inviting on people open to work. They would come on our show like this, right? We'd have them here. We go ahead. They're open to work. We do a live interview with them. All right, on LinkedIn Live, right here. Boom. Some people are a little bit nervous of it because they don't want to be on video, or they're like,
Mhm.
a live interview. Listen, if you come on the show, if you're watching this now, tomorrow, the next day, and you say, Dave, I need a job. Could I come on the show? I'd be like, hell yes. You come on here. We do an interview, but we do it kind of just to get to know the person. Naturally, you don't have to say where you worked in the companies. I don't get into saying, tell me where have you worked these last 3. You don't do that. You can see that, you
Mhm.
know. But what a great way to come on and showcase yourself, showcase it. But you better have the. I always tell them, listen, if people watch this, they're going to go back to your LinkedIn profile. Keep the open to work on there. My boss told me years ago this at this one place because some people say, why is my resume on LinkedIn? I have my resume right up on the first thing that you see. And everybody's like, why do you do it? Aren't you afraid? I'm like, listen, my boss told me I loved his philosophy. Everything, Dave, is for sale. Everything. Even my wife. He said, even my wife. I'm like, Eric. He goes, everything is for sale. Put it out there. Put it on there. And think about it. I mean, I have it on there because every single thing about me is there.
Right, right.
So, but to come on the show, you got to admit it does. I think it would help because it would show you stand out. I think the way the person would talk, people would watch it.
Well, if there's somebody that is eyeing a specific company
Right.
and they come on the show and we can talk to them about their experience
Right.
and what they have to offer and what they're currently doing, just really, I mean, maybe we can get them an interview or a job. I mean, it's going to go out to a lot of people,
Yep.
and, I mean, I think it would be a win-win and get to know people and see what we can do to help.
It is because I like to try to stick. I'll help anybody. I don't care what state they're in. I kind of like
Mhm.
trying to stick within Pennsylvania here, or New Jersey, New York, anywhere, because some strange reason this show has 22% in Philadelphia and 13% in New York. I have no clue who I connected with. But when you go on the insights, your insights show you they break it down. The
Right.
majority of my audience is in Philadelphia and New York. I have no clue.
Okay.
I don't know
Okay.
why. I'm like, okay, maybe I was just connecting with people that I didn't know, I didn't know them all, but still, that was when you look at the insights like that. I'd be
Right.
like, hell yeah, I got a Philadelphia backing. If you're in Philadelphia, I would come on because there's a lot of recruiters that watch this on Philadelphia.
Right. Hopefully get some people to come on.
Yeah, because you tag after you do the video. You're talking like this. You tag it. You tag all the companies that you want to work for, and like some people, well, how do you know they're going to see it? Listen, all it takes is one.
Mhm.
I'm past that. You need 10,000 views. It's nice. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
We
Right.
talked about that. But at some point, if you can find one person a job just by 15 minutes on the video,
Right.
priceless.
Well, hopefully that happens.
Yeah,
So,
that's
Dave, after somebody loses a job,
right.
like what do you think needs to happen?
Wow. You know what? That there, it hit me when I always look at different things, what you can do. And I think that first thing is like it talks about is that is the stress hits fast if you lose it, between denial, anger, anxiety. I think everything just hits you at once, because it's going to go through your mind. Oh my God, health insurance. What's going to happen here? Now, if you were let go and you know that reason, listen, there's no difference than somebody that's laid off. You still go through those same things, those feelings. So that first week is going to be rough on
Mhm.
anybody. I've been through it myself. I know what it's like to lose a job and then get a new one. Woo! Your whole body just relieves. But a lot of people, as I tell them, is just make sure, first, I know you're angry, you're upset. You got to get that unemployment in. You got to get that. Boom. That is the number one thing that I say. As soon as you get home, go online and hit that unemployment, because you don't want. It's harder now to get unemployment than it was years ago for some reason. Some reason it takes weeks. I've asked people, "Did you file for employment?" "Yeah, I didn't get it yet." "How long you been out?" "A month." I'm like, "Why a month? Why does it take a month to get your unemployment? You pay for it,
Right.
So, but that's one of the first things I say is, you got to get that feeling out, and you know what that's like. I'm sure in your career, you know what that feeling is. You're like,
Yeah.
ugh. But you don't want to go on LinkedIn. You don't want to go on social media things and again, bash the companies. I wouldn't personally. I don't. You got to suck it up and just,
Right.
what do you tell somebody?
So, I mean, really, this is a little, just don't panic. Like,
Right.
just obviously, it's a lot, and you've got to take it all in. And being able to have a level head and understand that everything is going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay.
Yep.
And what you've already said it, apply for the unemployment,
Yeah.
because that can take a couple weeks or longer before you start seeing anything there. Follow up, follow through, and find out about obviously your financial status
Oh
is
yeah.
going to be important. So do you have enough in savings? Don't put everything on a credit card, because you're looking at 22, 27%. So really look at your budget, and you have the wants versus the needs, and
Yeah.
make sure
We
that you
talked about that
really
before.
know what your needs are. And so you don't go out to eat anymore. You don't go on the weekend trip getaway.
Right.
So really look at what you need to spend and what you need to have each month to make ends meet. And then if you need to go to a credit union, your financial advisor, wherever you can, borrow some money at a lower than 22%. So maybe you get some for 8%. So just looking at all options and having a backup plan. And then if you need to go do Uber driving or go be a waitress, figure out something to bridge that
Right.
until unemployment kicks in, and or you then find your job. But there's definitely an emotional roller coaster.
Well,
But making sure that you really are strategic about what you're planning to do next. But just don't panic. Things will work out.
it does. You see everybody like after it's been 8 months, and let me tell you, some of my friends, colleagues, that sometimes it's 7, 8 months
Mhm.
before you get that job that you're like, you can breathe. Now,
Right.
I know how everybody will say, and I get it. If you're making 100,000 here and you lose your job, everything's going through your mind. Well, here's one for 60. I can't live on that. 70,000. I can't live on that. But at the end of the day, sometimes there, like you said, once you get your wants and needs,
Mhm.
you look at that and you might have to take that job. You
Right.
might just, if you write, I always just write it down like a scale, and it just goes like this.
Yeah.
What is it that you're looking for? Because there's so many. Now, I've heard that there's a lot of, it's hard to find a job right now. That you hear it, but I'm always like, I like to see a little bit of a data too. But
Mhm.
LinkedIn, I see a lot of job postings, but that doesn't mean anything because that couldn't be in your area. But at the same time, you need to be prepared. 401k is great. Like, have a plan. Again, do I want to lose my job tomorrow? No, but I would go right away. You know, go to that LinkedIn profile, make sure that is up to date. Put that green banner on there. Fight for it. Go back and say, you know what, I got to do these first things first.
Right.
Because if you wait, the resumes, get that resume done now. Have that resume done in your pocket. You're all done for that. Because then day one, guess what? Your resume. Because that when you start looking for work, I tell friends all the time to do that damn alerts. Get the alerts set up. I know
Hmm.
it's a pain, but if you do it right, no, I get all these jobs. No, because you're not figuring out what you need. They do give you information on Indeed. They do give you a ways on ZipRecruiter to click on the chat. What's the reason why? Fill it out,
Hmm.
and
Right.
you'll start getting better jobs. But if you don't have your resume, you know yourself that job can get posted 3 days after you lost your job, and if you don't have a resume ready and all that, man, you just lost that opportunity.
Right. And don't forget your coworkers, your boss, people that you've worked with. Reach out and let them know what happened and that you're open to work and what you're looking for, and put the feelers out. So you may have to reach out to quite a few people, but again, it's not a one and done. It can't just be I do one resume and I send it out to 10 companies and think
You
that's
know what I'm going to do? Do you know what I'm going to do?
what are you going to do?
All right. I've already come up with a plan if I was to lose my job. I'm going to go live every morning at 7 o'clock. I'm never going to go off live,
Okay.
only at night.
All
I'll
right.
be like, still haven't found a job yet. I'm just going to talk all day long. I'm going to talk about myself all day long until somebody comes on and say, "Hey, Dave, we're going to hire you." Imagine that for 12 hours a day, just sitting on here, sitting there, say hi. But no, but the reason I say about LinkedIn about myself is I don't try to not to bother me, because by doing, I'm engaged on LinkedIn all the time, and so are you.
Mhm.
Not just for the show, but I do a lot of postings, I do a lot of articles, I do a lot of things, and I tell people, work on your LinkedIn profile. Do 15 minutes a week on
Mhm.
LinkedIn. Spend 15 minutes. That's it. Do a posting. Well, I don't know what to post. Come on. You have a job. What are you doing?
Right.
Do something with your job. Stay relevant, because you know yourself, oh, I lost my job. And you see a lot more people I've seen come in with that 15 years, 20 years out of company.
Right.
Oh, they're like shell shocked now. You know,
Very different from 15, 20 years ago, for sure.
yeah, and there's a lot, but be relevant on there. That's just me again, because that all it takes is that one. When a job gets posted on LinkedIn, man, those things fill up fast. Not even, you don't see as much remote anymore,
Right.
but on those other jobs with the alerts, I'll see it to
Mhm.
where it'll show like 28 people only,
Mhm.
and right there you're like, okay, good, I'm prepared.
Right.
Put your resume on every freaking job board,
Yeah.
every single one of them. Set the alerts, and why have to look? It's going to come to you.
Right. And the other thing too is using Glassdoor.
I've never
That is
used that. I've never used that. Is it?
so I was looking at a company and I was doing reviews, and the amount of negative reviews from current employees and ex-employees was just horrible.
Do you think that'll
So,
come back to you though?
what's that?
I mean, when you're putting negative reviews on there for that, do other people see that you're in it, or you just
Yeah,
put they see your
yeah.
name if you're actually putting your name on there?
You can identify yourself, at least your first name, last name, or like something like that. But yeah, it's and the company can't remove it.
Right.
But it was so much negativity that when they set the interview with me, I'm like, I'm not coming. And they asked me why, and I told them. And then about a little bit later, I went back on the glass door, and they had HR go back on those negative reviews
And put
and
some.
start responding to them. And I mean, it was too late. I mean, I'm not when you think about interviewing, it's not a one-way interview. It's got to be a two-way interview, and I think a lot of people forget that it's got to be a good match for both. And so it's critical that you really know your worth. Don't be desperate. Just don't take anything that's thrown at you. Is this a good fit? Can you work with this person? Is this a micromanager? Is that what you just left? Is this person a yeller? Is that what you just left? So really know what you're willing to
I never
do.
looked on there that much, because that's what they're known for, right? They're known for job board, but they're also known for the reviews, right?
Yes. Yeah, and that's and there's some companies that you're going to see negative reviews on everything.
Right.
But I mean, then you have the positive. So you've got to make sure that you are reading it through a lens of um, how much is on there in different positions, if it's just one level that is having issues. So you've got to really keep an open mind when you're looking at it. But I think it's pretty powerful, another tool in your tool belt to
just
use.
just to use. And I
Yeah.
agree with that. Like I said, I always would tell the companies on reviews, I'd be like, man, you got to get some positive people that work there. Just put out a memo and say, hey, if you like
Yeah.
your job here, do us a favor. You see what happens in one night or 2 nights when over the weekend, if people would put some good reviews on that have worked there. You
Right.
would see that 2.9 turn around to a 3.9, and that 3.9 is going to go to a 4.2. It's going to change. And again, a lot of people just don't do that. I've done it. I got a company. I put one on the company here. Why not?
Right.
Because not all that negative stuff that you see is true. But when you see 10 of the same thing,
Hmm.
that's that just tells you right there when you're looking for work. But I like how you said that. Don't just take to get. If you don't do that search, you're going to be in the same boat. You'll be
Right.
unemployed. You'll be back unemployed within a month.
Right.
You know?
And the other thing too that one of the things that I look for when I'm interviewing somebody is I want them to ask questions.
Right.
If you go to an interview and you don't have any questions to ask, that's definitely a red flag.
Yeah.
And that definitely depends on what level you're interviewing for. But just anybody who's listening, if you're going to an interview, make sure you have questions. And
LinkedIn's great for that. LinkedIn has some great company pages. They have for
right,
companies that really put some time into it, and you can learn. You don't have to really. You can go your Google reviews and all that kind of stuff like about the companies too, but you can learn what they do. You can learn who works there. You
right,
could pick out names and maybe that are close to you. You know,
right,
there's a lot, but I'm going to say how you said it before. If you don't do that homework behind it,
right,
you're gonna struggle. You're gonna struggle.
right. And the one thing too is when you are asking questions, don't ask questions that you can find online. So don't ask the question of how many employees work here because that
Right.
should be online. Like just make sure that you're asking insightful questions, and if the interviewer has already answered some questions, identify, hey, I've had these 5 questions, but you guys did such a good job. You've already answered all my questions that I had. At least have questions.
Right. I'll let you take this one. See, I'll let you take this one. Can you read that? Can you see it?
I can. I
I
like
don't
what you
know why it
said
doesn't
about
say their name. Let me see while you're reading it. Let me see if it says their name.
being a two-way street and interviewing. When I'm speaking to a candidate as an in-house recruiter, I let them know that even though I work for the company, I still very much consider myself the middle person in the process. It has to make sense for everyone. Absolutely. And I
Allison.
think,
It's Allison. Her name Allison.
thank you, Allison. So yeah, I mean, it's we've got to make sure that it's not a one way. We're not talking at them. We're talking with them, and on both sides of the fence there. Being an interviewee, interviewer. I mean, it's got to make sense for both. It can't just be a one way. So good
I
job.
always look for the gulp on the throat when when you're talking to them, and I think Allison will know this when you're talking to them, and you got to be honest. You really, as a good recruiter, you don't want to. Some people will not say things. They not negative things, but things about, hey, did you know that sometimes you might have to work the weekend? You know what I mean? Like once a
Right.
month, because it's not on the job description. If you say Monday through, but you might want to find out because you might have kids. You
Right.
might say, listen, I coach football. Wow, did you realize that maybe a couple months or a couple weekends you might have to work? That sometimes can you see the gulp in their throat, like, oops, it's like, oh no,
Right.
they don't like that. But there's a lot of things that can be said that you can bring it up to so you both have the respect.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, giving them the good, the bad, the ugly. That's one thing that when I'm recruiting, I am giving all of the bad about the job,
Right,
mainly because I've lived it, I've done it, and I can speak to all of how, like a day in a life of, and then I'll sell them on the company and tell them all the good about the company and the people who have been there since they're 18 and now they're vice president of the company. So if you want to stay an agent for the rest of your life, that's fine. If you want to move up to a director, vice president, I mean, you have the ability.
right.
And then, I'm going to give them the good, the bad, the ugly, but I'm going to try to talk them out of the job to make sure that they truly understand everything that it entails.
You've always been strict like that. You've even said you need to tell. Well, I like it when you think about it, because why not? I mean, tell them the truth right there up front.
Right. And so I'm going to give you the day in, a day in the life of. And so just to make sure that there's no surprises, I do not like surprises. And I want to remove any ambiguity. So make it very clear. So the
It'll
cost
come
per,
back to the recruiter. It'll come back.
right. Well, I mean, when you think about the cost per hire too, I mean, I don't want to hire a turnover. So I want to make sure that the people that we do bring in are good candidates for short and long term.
For that. So, wow, we are at our 45 minutes. Boy, we look at that.
All right.
That was a good show. I mean, but you know, we'll go and review here. We'll talk about the two things again. You know, me personally on that LinkedIn green, I think you should have it. Put that green banner up there. Make that profile spark, boy. Use AI. Use AI for tell a story. Put your accomplishments in there, because that way you can apply right for there. Remember, when recruiters have LinkedIn Recruiter, they are filtering out open to work. Your name will come right up there with a little banner. It comes right up for recruiters for bigger companies that pay for that, because that's a big expense. But again, resume matches your LinkedIn profile. Your picture on LinkedIn looks shiny, looks really good. You know, don't wait till you get let go. Don't get involved LinkedIn now. 15 minutes a week, do your stuff on there. And that was my preaching for that. And if you lose your job, turn it around right there. And let me tell you, if you have everything ready to go, you can finally relax. You'll be able to relax because you don't have to run around. Oh my God, I don't have a resume. Whoa, that costs $300. No way. You know what I mean? Like, so
Right.
many things run through your mind. Have yourself a savings in case you do lose your job. 401ks. I just keep going on and on and on about it. Now it's your turn to end it out.
No, I definitely agree with the open to work, and make sure that that's not just a one stop shop. It's got to be one of many things that you do, and if it's not working, then change it up. So
That I agree. And again, we've talked about it numerous times. You know, get yourself. You're not doing good things on social media, and you're looking for work. Get off of that. Get off of there. But really, in all seriousness, you know, talk. If you do lose your job too, you need to talk to somebody. Get a hold of somebody. You know, that first week is going to be the toughest. I'll give my last hint my last recommendation I forgot about is, if you do lose your job, I always tell everybody, listen, I know staffing agencies have a bad rap sometimes, but not all of them. If you Google your top 10 within a 50-mile radius, let's say, professional staffing agencies, they go after direct hires. So that means you're going to get that job. Now, 3 of my jobs in my career I got from staffing agencies, because if I was to lose my job tomorrow, I would apply on every single staffing agency, and this is what I want. I go in and I apply. I want my resume. I want direct hire. I don't want to temp to perm. Maybe you might, but this is my fee. This is what I want, because now you got these little mini soldiers working for you. Because guess what? They're looking for direct hires because they're making a lot of money off of it.
right,
And by you going there, like on a Sunday night, my job, the one lasted 10 years. A Sunday night, I got a call. I ended up getting a job. Long story short, I got the job off of doing that from a staffing agency. Now, he told me, Dave, don't tell the staffing company I hired you. I can say it now. Been out of there 10 years. So, but my point there is you use it all around. You use all those tools. If you
right,
lost that job, you don't have to accept that job from a temp company, for a staffing company. But Robert Half is a very good staffing company. I like them
yes,
personally for professional. They have their other parts, but they will follow up with you. They only have really decent paying jobs for what you're looking for within that median,
hmm,
your pay range. But don't count out staffing companies. Sorry, there I said it.
all right, well said.
Well said. So, on that note, everybody, Amy, I'm going to talk to you right after this. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll probably be back next week. All right.
Bye.
Bye bye.